Welcome. Do me a favor. Follow me on YouTube, please. Follow me on TikTok, definitely. But so you can have access to the live when I do them live. But definitely follow me on YouTube at Sacred Intimacy Tarot. TikTok, it's doing its thing through the new. How would I call these people that have taken over in September? The new assholes that took over in September are shadow banning a lot of the truth seekers. And for example, one of the truth seekers that's really big, he's grown exponentially on YouTube. I never see him. And I follow him on TikTok. And they had me unfollow him 3 times. Astral Legends, 3 fucking times. I followed him. I had to refollow him. Astral Legends. He's massive on YouTube. And thank God, at least on YouTube, he's not getting shadow banned. But for whatever reason, and trust me, he's not political. He's just talking about star seeds, other planets, realities, how we were made, this, that, and the other. So if you don't mind, if you do not mind, all of your favorite content creators on TikTok, make sure you're still following them because, and most likely if they're your favorite, they're the real thing and they're solid. But when I have to refollow Astral Legends 3 times, I have to ask myself what the fuck's going on. And I never see his videos, and I know he's posting. I'm thinking he's posting. So anyway, excuse me, I have to clear my throat. I did a live today in the morning about something that some of you will find, I think, might find interesting. And ironically, many of you who truly are on the path of the sacred union, in reclaiming the sacred union, are coming to a point in your life, okay, in this journey, where you're realizing that the twin flame propaganda is something you want no part of. You have what they call twin flame fatigue, or twin flame cynicism, or just you're sick of the shit. And I think that we are being asked to refine and rename and so forth, many, many things. I think we're being asked, again, with everything that's going on, with everything that we've been exposed to in the last 5 years, going on 6 almost, with the lockdown, and how the lockdown really destroyed a lot of sensitives. Many of them took their lives. They just couldn't do it. And we also saw, some of you who are smart, who were following the lockdown, who were following journalists like you and me with a cell phone. I'm calling you guys, many of you journalists, just with a cell phone, showing that a lot of shit was manufactured. People actually lost their careers in the nursing world. A doctor lost his life. What was his name again? Rashid. Hang on for a quick second. I'm going to tell you, because he was huge during the lockdown. Hang on. I want to get his name because he was so important in the movement of the awakening, the Great Awakening. Hang on for a quick second. Ventura County, California. Anyway, he died mysteriously after being interviewed in, hang on for a quick second. He was being interviewed on CNN, and he literally, within, I'd say 48 hours, I don't know if you followed him at all. His name is Rashid something. Fuck, I'm trying to remember his name. God damn it. And he went to the interview. He was talking about, he was a medical professional with his own clinic, just so you know. And let me look at, I'm going to put COVID conspiracy. Okay. And anyway, he died. And oh, okay. Rashid Buttar. Rashid, look him up. Rashid, Rashid, Buttar, Buttar. And he died mysteriously. Period. And in the interview, which happened October 19th, 2021, they were calling him crazy. And he knew what the fuck he was doing. And unfortunately, something happened to him. I'm not going to get into it too much. Okay, I'm not going to, but do your research, because how he died was very, very fucking suspicious. And he died within, like, I think 5 to 7 days. So why am I bringing this up? Well, because in the journey that many have decided to coin, the twin flame journey, right? Which Plato talked about twin souls, the split of the souls in half and so on. And to experience incarnations upon incarnations in separate bodies, howling for the other half, that kind of thing. In the last, I'd say, 7 years, I've seen a very vile agenda to destroy sacred union. Once again, the first union they ever destroyed back 2,000 years ago was Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. You can't argue that point. It's documented how they destroyed it, why they destroyed it, why 2 popes made sure that she was demonized, Pope Benedict, Pope Gregory, respectively, I believe, in that order. Flip it, I don't give a shit. 2 fucking men who were popes decided it was a good idea to promote the fact that Mary Magdalene was a fucking whore and nothing more. That she was not important, that she didn't do shit, she was not his equal, and that Yeshua drove out 7 demons out of her, which is bullshit. Because what does 7 connect to? If you really think, I'm actually going to ask you to answer that question. When they said, because they wrote it, not him. Yeshua never said that. And I'm going to prove it to you. He never said he drove out 7 demons. Somebody else wrote that. Men who detested women. In fact, his own apostles detested Mary Magdalene. This is proven. It's documented. Why do you love her more than you love us? This is a famous line. So why was it so important? This is why I keep on, but trust me, I'm no Christian, meaning I'm a Yeshua devotee, but I would never bend the knee to any of these Abrahamic religions. Not for any fucking money in the world. Never. But, so why would they do that? Okay, so when you look at how they've bastardized, and I'm like, sprinkling little things here and there, and if you follow me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't follow me, I'm talking mumbo jumbo shit, and you're probably going to scroll on, to be honest, because it's not making sense to you at all, and I understand, but I'm not catering to you, no offense. If you want to know what I'm talking about, I have a playlist of over damn near 900 videos on YouTube, and probably 20 of them are about the sacred template being fucking destroyed by the powers that be. And it starts with that. That's one of the major eternal consorts, avatars that came on this planet, Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, and how the fractured, toxic, sadistic, pedophilic environment attacked them and hated them for just existing and possibly healing and awakening other human beings. So about 7 years ago, I started seeing, and just so you know, my journey started when I was 18 years old, my journey of my eternal consort, and I used to always refer him to that, and then I fell into the rabbit hole of the twin flame tag, and the hierarchies, twin flame, twin ray, meta flame, all this bullshit. That's just bullshit, okay? I'm sick of it. I don't know about you, but I'm sick of it. So the eternal consort, and I explained it in depth this morning. Feel free to watch my video. You'll see a very similar redheaded woman in the sunrise. You'll see that video. Check it out. And it says, I forgot the title, but anyway, I'll give it to you in a minute. But anyway, so 7 years ago is when I started seeing the bastardization of twin flames. By 2023, there was an article that came out in Vanity Fair, apparently, by a journalist who obviously was not into spirituality, did not believe in any of this mumbo jumbo, probably doesn't believe in reincarnation, which is to me like a primer. It's like so pedestrian. It's like, if you don't believe in reincarnation, with all the libraries and libraries of fucking books that talk about, even General Patton believed in reincarnation. He thought he was the reincarnation of Caesar. I kid you not. Walt Whitman believed in reincarnation. Most great minds believe in reincarnation because they remember fractal pieces of themselves. Philosophers, poets, writers, artists have a memory of it. So in about 2023, and I'm trying to remember exactly, I'll look it up real quick, but it was it's a couple. I forgot their names because I don't think they're worth remembering, but they own a company called TWINFLAME Universe. And in that TWINFLAME universe, I saw cultish Jim Jones yeah, I mean, they're not going to drink the Kool-Aid, but damn near. And I'll tell you why I'm saying that, because one of their women had to do a gender sex change to be the counterpart to what they had decided, this couple, TWINFLAME Universe, to be the twin flames. You know, does that make sense? In other words, one woman was forced, okay, to change her sex to masculine to go with the, supposedly the gurus, Shyla and Jeff Ayan. And this woman was told, change your sex to a man so that you can be, because you're her twin flame. They were telling people whose twin flame it was. Okay? That's how it all began, basically, is when I saw the fuckery. Okay? So, the next scenes you see with TWINFLAME Universe is them having Zoom calls and being very mean and bullying and saying, you don't trust me. And Jeff basically poses as a Jesus reincarnated. I kid you not. He's got the hair, the beard, like every man with a beard and hair, dirty blonde hair is now Jesus. Apparently that's how it works. You got to have the accoutrement of the beard and the, you know. So the subscription to the full run of this therapeutic reality concept of their little twin flame universe is, at the time, was $4,444. And they were going to make sure that you were going to meet your twin flame. Come hell or high water, man, we will find your twin flame. There's one guy also that reports that he's brought 5,000 people in union as twin flames. So by 2023, I believe it was September, a show came out from the Vanity Fair article. Again, look it up. All you have to do is Google Twin Flame Universe, Vanity Fair, and that's it. It'll come up immediately. I'm sitting right in front of the article as we speak right now. And so at that point, you know, I was trying to reach, you know, twin flames. By 2022, I decided this is when I'm listening to twin flame coaches saying some pretty stupid shit. They're parroting things. They're not giving credit to the original people who taught them what to say, who taught them where twin flames were, which one of them being Plato, and the other great names that are still known. In fact, most of you know exactly what I'm going to say. Twin Flame 1111, Cassidy. Cassidy was the first person I first saw. Then Twin Flame Healers with Remy. Then, of course, we can't forget Mel Brand, Twin Ray, Golden Twin Ray. And these were the heavy hitters who fucking walked their talk and knew what the hell they were saying. Everyone else, so far, is parroting. They're parroting other people. And that is so today, this morning, after meditations and, you know, basically just on the spur saying, you know, I'm not using that term anymore. I'm sick of that term. That term is actually, it's cultish, it's stupid, and it's not accurate. On the twin flame term, flame means burning karma, accurate, flame. And twin ray, it's a higher level of evolution, which you could say You definitely want to say Yeshua and Mary Magdalene were rays of light, of knowledge, of abundance, of love, of self-respect, respecting each other, in a world that was, at best, pedestrian, uneducated, illiterate, so on and so forth. I don't need to go on. And they understood. She had been trained in the high priestess temples, and we don't have a paper trail. Do you understand? We don't have a paper trail, but in my lives that I've done again and again, she has come to some of us. She came to me with a red dress, and I didn't know anything about red dresses. In fact, I remember talking about this about a year ago, saying, red 2,000 years ago, like just the red ink I could see from Morocco, Algiers, but we're talking about, Palestine, and 2,000 years ago, and we're talking about, well, it was a hell of a beautiful blood red color, and I was puzzled until I found out from Freddie Silva, who is one of the great scholars, spiritual scholars of our time, an anthropologist, archaeologist, you could say. I would say he's a spiritual archaeologist, honestly, who said that in the ancient temples of Isis, all of the high priestesses wore red. I almost spit my tea. So what's happening, and this is important for you to understand, what's happening is that we are actually downloading the truth. We are no longer held by the Abrahamic tree of ignorance, the three religions. I'm sorry if I offend you. I'm sure there's beautiful things, and I'm sure all three of them, but I'm kind of tired of being politically correct because we don't have a lot of time. We don't. And I was so the term eternal consort is the term that is so beautiful that I would actually tell my clients when I coach them. You can tell him when he says, what is this? What is this? What is this? Why can't I forget you? Why am I dreaming about it? Because I'm your eternal consort. There's not one thing that you'll find that's negative about that term. Not one. And it's probably the most accurate statement of the soul bond I've ever heard. Let's break it down. Consort. Well, what does that mean? Consort. So let's look it up. Eternal consort. Meaning in Hindi. I'm not going to do a meaning in Hindi. A partner in a committed relationship that is considered to last forever. In spiritual context, it refers to the divine partner or companion of a deity, often representing the eternal and inseparable feminine energy, Shakti, to the masculine divine form, Shiva. I'm saying that. In a romantic or literary context, it describes a deeply loved partner or soulmate with whom one shares an everlasting bond, transcending lifetimes. No shit. A consort is the divine feminine power partner of a god, such as Lakshmi as the eternal consort of Vishnu, or Radha as the eternal consort of Krishna. These consorts often appear alongside the male deity, even when they take on different forms. Sita, Rama, Rumiki with Krishna. The relationship symbolizes divine love, power, and the inseparable nature of masculine and feminine cosmic forces. For example, Shiva is the eternal consort of Kali, providing the consciousness that directs her fierce energy. In mythology and fiction, the term is used to describe character with an everlasting, often, it says here, okay, we're talking about mythology, often tragic love connection that persists across different incarnations or lifetimes, such as the eternal consort in Michael Moorcock's novels. I don't know what they're talking about, whatever. Again, this is Google, so we can't fucking take everything. But what is the meaning of consort? A consort can refer to a spouse or reigning monarch, a companion, a partner, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to tell you what consort means to me. Fuck this. Consort means an advisor. Consort means an aide. Consort means the equal partner. The consort means you are not walking behind the man. He is not walking behind you as a feminine. You walk shoulder to shoulder as powerful forces of nature. And that you have been together before you ever incarnated on this planet in your first human incarnations. And as a consort, as the eternal consort, eternal, infinite, everlasting, in this context, it means that it is your duty to educate, to wipe the sleep from your beloved's eyes of ignorance. But it is also your duty to rise out of the ashes of your own ignorance. It is your duty, because what you digest, what you swallow, what you feed yourself, feeds your twin remotely. You have the same umbilical cord, and I'm saying that as a metaphor. Okay, it is a metaphor, but essentially, what you feed your twin feeds you. So now I'm not going to use the word twin. Again, I'm going to use it here and there, but sparingly, much more, until until if you're following me, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because the egregore of the twin flame, and what twin flame universe and these other companies like, and I'm calling them companies, okay? Companies that are all about making money off your pain, off your confusion, right? Because it's a machine. You know how much they're charging now, Twin Flame Universe? I believe it's so cute. They're charging $8,888. And it goes up from there. There's another little company called Twin Ray up in Ashland, Oregon, that have all the accoutrements, all the accessories to make you think they're spiritual. What does that mean? They're wearing white, turbans, crystal headdresses, the whole bit. Basically, it's a marketing tool. They're marketing themselves and wearing the cute little outfits so that you think, oh, they must know something. They must, because you're not wearing the same clothes. It's like weird. It's like we are so visual, we forget to close our eyes and listen to our bodies as we absorb the words of human beings that are here to either guide us or throw us off the track of our true ascension. You see what I mean? So it's interesting to me. It's a cult. Okay, the Twin Flame Universe is a cult, and there are a lot of cults. And the fact that the term Twin Flame has become an egregore, okay? And an egregore takes on a life of its own. Let me explain it to you. And again, it came from Jung's theories. Okay, egregore, Carl Jung. An egregore is a concept in Western esotericism for a non-physical autonomous thought form or a collective group mind that arises from the collective thought, emotions, and intentions of a group. It is created intentionally or unintentionally by a group with a common purpose, such as a family, club, cult, or nation, and can go on to influence that group. It actually is more nefarious than that. It can become an entity, an inorganic entity that controls the group, I'm saying this, and controls the energies attached to the name, place, or thing. Twin Flame has become that egregore that's been hijacked. Do you understand? So if you are getting a bitter taste in your mouth over the word Twin Flame, it's because your soul knows, right, that you've hit the wall with that term. You've hit the wall. And it feels bitter in your mouth. And why? Because it has become a bitter, kidnapped idea. Do you understand? And so, your beloved, it actually is no one's business, unless you're coming to seek knowledge, right? From an Akashic reader, or hypnosis, or reading on what is the soul bond that you have with your beloved. But in this incarnation, you may have 2 or 3 beloveds, and one is the ultimate bond. That is, there are no words to explain that bond. There are experiences and that are they're so powerful and so mystical. It is the nectar of nectars. You know what I'm saying? And when that happens, it's something you protect. It's something where you don't expose your beloved's name nor their picture. You're not here to prove yourself to anyone. When my beloved eternal consort it was the first time many of you saw how, when my twin, my beloved looked like. I'm still getting out of the habit of saying twin. It's a habit that I'm definitely going to wash my mouth out with mantras. But that was the first time anyone knew his name, his spiritual name, and what he looked like. And then when that was done, I shut it all down all over again. Basically, I mean, the only people that know what he looks like are in my small group. You understand? Because jealousy on this planet is still a problem. And people still need to learn how to find joy in seeing people who are madly in love with each other. Do you know why Dracula, coming out of Europe, directed by my favorite fucking director in the whole world, is Luc Besson. Luc Besson. He directed The Big Blue, one of the greatest movies ever. Such a beautiful movie. But about deep divers, competition of deep divers, amazing. But Dracula is driving women insane. Why? Well, because taking that story, apart from the fact that Dracula has to sustain his youth, he needs the tragic nutrition of blood, right? He can't stop feeling bonded to the soul. And eventually the soul is incarnated into the same avatar. Basically, same face, same eyes, same hair, some darker hair, whatever. 400 years later. And so there is a need for us as sentient beings to know that this kind of loyalty can be possibly your experience. And that's why there's an insane hunger, a longing of dreaming that into play. And so you can actually spend your time watching different snippets, and they're going insane. The actor, I forgot his name, Caleb. Yeah, Caleb. He takes it away. Like, he is probably the best version of Dracula. Gary Oldman is, he looks like a creep, honestly. But Caleb does an incredible job. And why are women going crazy over Caleb? I mean, crazy. Because honestly, I'm not putting him down, but he's not the most beautiful man you'll ever see, by a long shot. But it's because his soul shines through his eyes, and he is walking in the feminine and masculine, the anima and animus, in balance. There's a balance. And he's able to express his love in this movie of Dracula, who has loved his beloved, his eternal consort, for 400 years. And he waits for her to come back. He waits for her to incarnate. Well, what does that sound like? It's pretty familiar, isn't it? And so there's this a movie that eventually is going to hit the States in February of 2026. And I urge you to watch the movie with transcendental eyes and to understand. 400 fucking years. And we have had to wait 400 years to incarnate once again with our beloved, our eternal consort. We have. And I think on a primal level, some of us recognize that truth, that pain, and the amnesia that kept us trapped in the forgetting again and again and again, which I think is something that is no longer, for many of us, the forgetting is done. There's no more amnesia pills anymore. There's no more of that soma being taken before we incarnate again, because we are not going to be a match for 3D. First of all, we don't consent. And secondly, we're not playing the loosh game anymore. We're not going to keep fucking incarnating, willy-nilly, with no fucking, without a plan. And we're definitely refusing to come in ignorant, forgetting our own spiritual names, our own beginnings. That's done. And that's beautiful. But that movie is going to, it seems to be, I'm watching people going, oh my God, I can't wait to see it. And it's rocking their world. And what makes me sad, though, is because the twin flame title, term, whatever, has been so misaligned and beaten down to a commercial level with no real understanding of what this was. No real howling and trying to grab the words out of the out of the sky, trying to find a way to express what it meant, so that when you were going or are going through this and you tried to tell a friend, a parent, a sibling, whatever, they would look at you blank-eyed because they had no idea the kind of nectar you had tasted and the kind of triggering aliveness, awakeness that was basically rushing through you. So that you felt like you were going crazy. And now that the twin flame term has been polluted, you do, if you use that term, you do look crazy. I look crazy. Okay? Because it does look like it's a cult. It isn't, to be honest. It's not, for the most part. There's a lot of wonderful coaches out there that are very private, very good. They have integrity, they have love, and they have the brains to know that they don't want to be entangled in any way through other people's experiences of this eternal soul bond. You understand? And it is romantic, and then it's not. Why would it not be romantic? Well, because in many incarnations, again and again, I keep saying that, your beloved eternal consort chose not to incarnate with you so they could be in assistance with you, or so they could actually do their own work to try to reset themselves, to feel worthy of not coming back, to try to figure out how you and them could stop these fucking patterns of runner, chaser, of self-harm, of addictions every time we came into this planet. So they would stay on the other side. And sometimes the mission was, we weren't allowed. We were told by our guides, you can't, you can't. No, not this time. No, not this time. One of you is gonna have to stay behind. You decide if you want. I think sometimes we did decide which one was gonna go in and which one was gonna stay behind. Okay? And that would have lasted, it could have lasted 400 years. I know that if you go, I've done it myself, in deep hypnosis, that sometimes you have past lives and you're like, where's my beloved? Where's my bonded mate through eternity? Where the fuck? They're nowhere to be seen. You'll see a whole life play out. Nowhere to be seen. You see your life mate, your eternal beloved. Nowhere. And then you have another life, nowhere to be seen. And then another life, nowhere to be seen. Nowhere. And then suddenly here they are. And the society's norms, the society's rules of engagement, the society's 1% bullshit that's been going on for thousands of years prevents the union. And because we're well trained, that like good little dogs, in those ancient past lives, up until I'd say 100 years ago, honestly, some people are still doing it. You do what you're told, and you marry who you're told to marry. And there's other things that separate, beloved eternal consorts. Race, religion, right? Culture. And I did a whole live on racism, and I actually made it private because I don't think people are ready for that kind of fucking truth, honestly. It's too raw. People don't want to hear that racism in the soul bonded, beings who are incarnated like you. If you're listening to me, there's something that's resonating about this. It's all kinds of shit. Do you understand we're in 2025? Why are people still married to people they clearly don't love? And they clearly know, and then they make this cowardly excuse. They're there for the kids. Why? The kids know you don't love your person, and the kids know you haven't fucked in fucking a month or 2 or 6 years. They know. You think they're dumb? So what are you teaching your kids? To settle for lackluster love? For love that is not even present? For affection, sibling affection in a marriage? Why are you settling for that? And acting like it's 1820, that divorce is impossible. Those are old templates being played out. That's why it's happening. And it feels like an impossible task to separate. It's amazing to me, So when you decide, okay? Yes, exactly. When you decide that you want to rename your bond, your eternal bond. I don't even call, when I do Akashic readings, I had a couple what I call bonded ceremonies. I don't call them marriage, but I'm going to say the word marriage. Now you know what I'm talking about. These bonded ceremonies that were being done even in other planets. I witnessed bonded ceremonies with eternal consorts who volunteered, kid you not, to fall from high dimensions into either Lemuria or Atlantis. Some actually waited as far as 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. I kid you not. Some of them did not fall when Atlantis fell. And I've talked about that at length. They came way later. And so technically, they haven't had as many human incarnations as some of us have. And of course, and this resonates, we also do have souls on this planet right now who have never had an incarnation on other planets. Every incarnation they had has been on this planet. And I'm not sure what to make of that one, because I can't relate to it. So I think for our own clarity and power, you may want, it's up to you, do what you want, but I personally am not going to use that term. I'm trying to literally clean that energy out of me and go back. And I said again in my live this morning, it was in depth, and you may want to listen to that. It's much more in depth than this one. Obviously, this is more like whatever. But I always refer to him as my eternal consort. I always refer to myself as that to him. Always. And then something shifted. When did it shift? I'll tell you when. I think it shifted at around 2015, 2016, when I was using and seeing the term twin flame to better express it to him. And he would express it to me. But when we first met, that was not the term we used. It was a sacred term. It was whispered with reverence. And twin flame looks like a package deal from Mattel. Swear to God, I feel like it's plastic. It's Barbie and Ken. I've been saying that for a long time, but now I really understand it. And so what's beautiful about actually using the right term for the right emotions is when you say we are bonded as soulmates, that you're not lying to your beloved. You are still protecting sacred space with your beloved who may not know as much as you about this connection. But when they ask you, what is this? Why can't I forget you? Why? Fuck, I can't help myself. I don't understand. I can't stay away from you. What is this? You can say, we are bonded soulmates. And then explain what souls are. Because most people still don't know. And most people don't understand that you have multiple soulmates. But this bonded soul connection is of the most high and of the most powerful and of the oldest. That is something any person who might still be in the 3D vortex of consciousness could sink their teeth into that. They could say, yeah, that's what we are. What's a term for that? Eternal consort. You could say, we have walked incarnations for hundreds of years, perhaps thousands, perhaps millions of years. I don't know. And that's true. You don't know. But that's a beautiful way, in my opinion, to explain that. Because the minute you say twin flames, you are so fucked, you have no idea. The damage is real. And there's no undoing the damage. The pollution is now done. It's like an oil spill that cannot be fucking cleaned up. Okay? Good luck. Time will eventually do its work, but we can't clean it up. We're done here. Twin flames is out. Twin flames is completely out. You're fucked. Don't ever fucking tell your person that, because they will, and I said this morning, they will look at you again with very suspicious, cynical eyes like, are you part of this cultish insanity of women who are obsessed? Are you obsessed with me? And no, you're not obsessed with them. They're not obsessed with you. It's a recalling. It's a recollection. It's love that could not be satisfied in multiple incarnations, in Spain, in Italy, in Africa, in India, in China. And I could go on and on. It could not be consummated. It could not be satisfied. And it's like, oh my God, I finally found you. And this time, we live in a timeline where we can strip right here and make love on the beach right now, right in this moment. And no one will stop us. Can you imagine the excitement of that? How amazing that feels after being oppressed in cultures and religions and belief systems of nobility and serfs. My God, to be free, to literally, and there are people that report it. There are people that will say to you, I met my eternal, they'll say, I met my twin ray, and we had sex within 12 hours, and I'm not that girl, and he's not that guy. He doesn't just fucking hook up. He's not into hookup. So this is known, this is actually talked about, how the meeting can literally just, all bets are off, we're doing it now. And the activation of the root chakra exploding, and it's almost like a lighting system going up the staircase of chakras. Now let's go back to Mary Magdalene. When I told you, and I was asking you, do you know that Yeshua was not purging 7 demons from her? Trust little men who hate women, who are jealous of their master, avatar, Yeshua, to bastardize even the most insidious shit. What Yeshua was doing was activating her 7 chakras. 7 demons. And probably through the act of tantra, lovemaking. Okay? And then after lovemaking, doing some, what today we call Reiki, energetic, healing, recalibration. And she was doing the same. They were taking turns in activating each other through that system. So that's this is why when I think about how you look at, when you look at what was written in the ancient world, and we're still, it's literally 2,000 years later, and we're still taking it verbatim. instead of metaphorically talking about what was actually going on. And I was telling Andromeda Flame today, because I was telling her about the book by Elizabeth Clare Prophet, which it's funny how they have all these books on Audible about, Saint Germain, blah, 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 Violet Flame, got it, but nothing, no Audible books of her 2 books, probably the most important books she's ever written, on Yeshua's Lost Years and Mary Magdalene. Those 2 books, oh yeah, no, not on Audible today, okay? But I said to her, with what I've been reading, Jesus in Aramaic by Neil something, I forgot his last name, Flotz or Klotz, I forgot his name. I can look it up if you want. But anyway, I said to her, we really just need to throw out the Old Testament and just literally, fuck it. Done. It's sadistic, it's evil, it's cruel, it's fucked up, it's confused. It's not confusing. It's clear. It's psychopathic. Okay, there's a lot of problems in that Old Testament, and I'm not here to bend the knee on that one. And Yeshua says it himself. He says, "I am the truth. I am this teaching I'm giving you supersedes the Old Testament." He said it himself, and yet we're still. Volume 1 and Volume 2. Well, what about Genesis? I don't know. Read the Sumerian tablets. Read what I read from Zachariah Stitchens on what some of the anthropologists knew of the creation of our galaxies through the metaphoric language of the Sumerians. That's all I gotta say on that. That would be more appropriate to put this as how we were how this galaxy was created. But in rewriting, and I told her, I want to see that. I want to be alive to see that, where people are literally great scholars, great thinkers, fuck scholars. Sometimes shouldn't even be scholars. I mean, was Tesla a scholar? No. Right? Did Nicholas Tesla have a PhD? I don't think so. So the great minds of our time to literally put together the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Old Testament, and translate it directly from Aramaic into our common language of English, French, Italian, Spanish, Japanese, whatever. And then to call it the truth of a holy book or something like that. But to me, this thing called the Bible that has caused harm and has made people take their lives in shame, and that it all spewed out of Judaism, and then Islam is part of that as well. I don't see joy here. I really don't. And joy comes from truth, living in truth, living an authentic life. The fact that being gay or a lesbian was shamed to the point where people took their lives still today, should tell you, as whatever the hell you're calling yourself that follow your little books, that maybe something's wrong. I know of Muslim men who are gay who are afraid to come out of the closet in the 21st century. Okay? Not okay. It's fucking not okay. Not okay at all. So if that is the religions that are controlling our planet, then maybe we should fucking rewrite the whole thing and do it correctly once and for all. So that by the time you're dead and I'm dead, dust in the wind, our grandchildren will actually have something of substance and truth, instead of the shit that has harassed and haunted people to self-harm. So I don't know about you, but I think that if we're going to leave some things behind before we die, let it be all about truth. And not your truth, though you can share that if you want, the truth. Irrefutable, objective truth. Because when we try to protect the Bible, as many of these Christians have tried, let's not forget September 23rd and 24th was going to be the rapture. And that version of the Bible was Schofield, and Schofield was a drunk. And it came from Darby in England, a guy called Darby. I did a whole live on that one. So it's not like the Bible has been kept clean without multiple little dirty little hands of misogyny doing their work. Wouldn't it be nice if we actually scrubbed it clean and edited something absolutely beautiful that actually was closest to the truth that we've ever read before? Wouldn't that be nice? I think it would be. But anyway, let's move on from that, and let's go into a reading. I'm going to go and do a reading real quick. I'm going to see what they think you should know today. What should they know today about their journey as souls that are looking to ascend? So I'm going to look and see what they're saying about you, and you listening when it's recorded, and you right here on this live. And I'm going to go left. And the Knight of Pentacles means a slow-moving offer that's going to be real. Two of Pentacles is sideways, which means material concerns are being neutralized. But the Four of Swords is there's pain you're healing from. There's pain. It's Four of Swords. Four of Swords is right after the Three of Swords, and Three of Swords is a broken heart. It could be health, and it could be a broken heart, literally, just that. So take time to heal yourself. Page of Pentacles is crowning the reading. Recent past, Eight of Cups, walking away, looking for answers. Nine of Swords, having nightmares, not sleeping, maybe even having dreams that shake you. The Lovers is a choice. You're always going to have choices. No one's forcing you to be on this journey, but I would suggest you stay with it. Five of Swords is conflict, fighting within yourself, fighting with other people. Don't do that. King of Pentacles is grounded energy, and the Sun is clarity and healing and seeing things for what they are. The fear you're having is having another broken heart, another nervous breakdown, another dark night of the soul. Tell me about the Knight of Cups. Why is it here, please? Nine of Swords, anxiety. The Tower, a collapse. Everything you've known is collapsing, which is fine. It's fine to say this, right? For me to say this, but in reality, it's a shit show. But everything you thought was real is a lie. What I like to read is Life Itself, Great Lesson. There's a lot of things to read, but we need to stop being so filled with our own ego, thinking that, let's start out with some of the great masters and get that right. And then, write whatever you want. We have tons. We have, I'd say, millions upon millions of books on everyone's ideas of life. So, Page of Cups is the Lovers again. You have a choice of what you accept. The Chariot is traveling within yourself, traveling within literally the world, like physically traveling, but also traveling within yourself into the Temperance. Angel Michael and transformation is coming. And it's happening as we speak. Tell me about the Two of Pentacles. Why is that sideways? Eight of Wands, fast-moving communication. Three of Cups, celebration, into the Four of Cups. Okay, well, Four of Pentacles, excuse me. Celebration, don't celebrate too much. I think some of you are doing certain things that you should not be doing. You should try to keep silent. Stop drinking. Stop doing whatever the fuck you've been doing to soften the edges. I'm not kidding. Stop softening the edges. Start digesting life raw. Eat life raw. Okay? Don't soften the edges right now. Give yourself a week of reality, of all the harsh reality of your consciousness, and then realize that for you to transmute it, you have to see it for what it is. And we have all I mean, read books from the 1700s. I mean, read Samuel Pepys, the diary of Samuel Pepys. Okay? It's just about a man in the 1600s. He talks about the Great Fire of London, this, that, and the other. And he's just living his life, getting drunk, grabbing girls, doing what he wants to do. He's married, having your basic life, watching a king crowned. It's a pedestrian life. And drinking, going to the pub is part of that distraction. Do you understand? Having a new woman in his bed is a distraction. But so try to like be willing and ready to watch the train wreck of our existences, yours, mine, the collective, without trying to soften the edges by taking shit. Okay? Four of Swords, why is it here, please? The Hangman, seeing things from a different perspective, meaning an eagle's eye view. Two of Cups. Two of Cups for you is going to be about the beautiful yin and yang being in balance between the feminine and the masculine within yourself. And loving both parts of yourself. Also your shadows and your light in full forgiveness. And then here comes the Empress, the cornucopia of abundance in the physical world. More lovers, more choices. Six of Swords, wanting peace. Page of Pentacles, say what you mean. Hermit, going within. Say what you mean. Don't say shit to please people. You can be diplomatic and still say the truth. Five of Swords, conflict within yourself. The Magician, into the Page of Wands, into justice, karma. In this case, it's karma. And the Magician is, what do you want to manifest? Why are you showing me karma with manifesting what they want? What's going on here? Page of Pentacles, say what you mean. Tell me more. Be honest. Ace of Swords, cut the bullshit. Cut anything that doesn't help you. Cut all the albatrosses off your neck, from around your ankles and your belly, and say, this is what I want. This is what I want to experience. Go as wild as possible. Be honest about your passions. King of Pentacles, what's going on with that? Seven of Wands, defensive energy. Two of Pentacles, here we go again. So now it is talking about your beloved. It's coming up. Because we have the King of Pentacles, right? Which is a grounded masculine energy in this particular case, okay? It's not gender specific, but in this case, I'm going with that. And there's the Seven of Wands, defensive energy, into the Two of Pentacles, juggling material concerns. And here you come as the Queen of Pentacles, the divine consort, to the divine masculine, the King of Pentacles. But what's in between you is defensive, fighting, survival, juggling shit in the material world. I mean, be aware of what's the problem. Some of you aren't even the problem to this union. In fact, some of you, if it wasn't for the way the system is, you'd be in union and you'd be happy. What's harming your union, some of you, not all of you, some of you, it's egoic bullshit, it's looping templates, but some of you have your shit together already, and what's separating you is this infrastructure. It's not conducive to people like you coming into union. Does that make sense? Okay, the Sun. Why is the Sun here? Page of Swords, do your research. Knight of Wands, wishy-washy energy. And Five of Swords, creating havoc, chaos. Why is that here, please? The Three of Wands, the temples, the portals are open for a movement of exploration, and together or apart. Ace of Wands is spiritual beginnings, creativity. And then Two of Swords is unable to see things for what they are. And either that's your problem, meaning you're not looking at what is really the cause of your separation. And each of you have that issue. You have to look at it for what it is. Like I said, it could be the environment. It could be the infrastructure of the systems in our cultures. Or it could be that you guys are fucking up. Clearly, you're in your egos. And you have to look at that too, and forgive yourself, and just realize, okay, well, these are patterns of behaviors I need to overcome. Does that make sense? So my beautiful souls, sisters and brothers, I want to thank you for being here. Go ahead and go on my YouTube channel, and I invite you to go check out more stuff on that channel at Sacred Intimacy Tarot. There's so much to excavate. And I'm hoping that some of the lives that I've done, again, I keep saying, I'm like in shock myself. I mean, I'm looking at this, and out of 800, how many videos do I have? How many? I'm just going to tell you. I think it's like 800, and it's over 850 videos, okay? And out of those 800 videos, there's got to be one that your guides are going to direct you to look at. I'm not kidding. Oh, it's 898 videos. out of the playlist, something's going to make you hit play. That'll be the right video for you. And hopefully will trigger a self-realization, a moment of realizing what needs to be shed, and probably even the realization of how to speak to your beloved. How to speak to your beloved in such a way that you don't sound like a nag, you don't sound angry, you don't sound like you're accusing them of betraying you and us, you know, meaning you and them, but that literally brings them to a self-awareness of what they're not doing to honor themselves, to honor the union, to honor you, and to honor the fact that them loving themselves enough to say yes to love could actually help heal this planet. And actually will. The more we have high bonded souls coming into union, be they high-level soulmates or the other word I refuse to use, eternal consorts, right? That will catapult us, and I've talked about it at length, catapult this planet into an incredible frequency of healing. I really believe that 100%. 100%. And so again, I invite you to check out again my channel and do some. I really need you to like forgive yourself. So do the Ho'oponopono guided meditations on my YouTube channel. It's on the playlist of guided meditations, right? You can hopefully find that. If not, you can try to find it on. It should be pinned on my profile, Ho'oponopono. And try to do that and try to learn how to work on your chakras, okay? It's guided meditation. It will go through your 9 somatic chakras. For those who are women, I frankly, if I was a man, I'd do it too, but up to you. I also have a guided meditation on womb healing, WOMB. And I would highly recommend to do that. Also, all of my guided meditations work on the chakras. And then on my YouTube channel, which would be an amazing exercise for you guys to do this weekend, it's called Guided Soul Retrieval Guided Meditation. And the way you look for it is under most popular video. Okay, it'll pop up and you'll see it. And it will lead you through a guided meditation. It's less than 10 minutes. I think it's 11 minutes, actually. Less than 12 minutes. And it will lead you on a soul retrieval guided meditation to find out. It might actually reveal a past life that you need to look at. You know, or it could also give you other visions and other activations. Okay, so I would suggest you do one of those things, or maybe even, all of those things. And go from there, okay? Sending you much love on your journey, Brent. And thank you, Pilo. What is your name? Piotier. But thank you, all of you, for being here. Much love. Namaste.